Good afternoon. It's good to have you joining us again for Real Talk with me, Anele. There aren't many people who've had the honor of living legend bestowed upon them, but today we have the pleasure of spending the next hour with one such individual. Born into a musical family to a father who went on to become a music historian and a mother with a beautiful singing voice, it's almost as if her career path was predestined long before she was born. Her revered mezzo-soprano has seen her reign as the supreme queen in the fields of classical music, jazz, and traditional song, earning her the title of South Africa's First Lady of Song. Over the past 2 decades, she has enchanted diverse audiences through her albums, musicals, as well as her concerts on home soil and the world over. I have with me in studio the ever youthful, ever soulful and dynamic singer, songwriter, composer, and above all, music educator, Sibongile Khumalo. Right? You're just like, that's me.
Who is this person? Really?
Do you know what? I'll tell you who this person is. I remember when I first discovered you were on Twitter. Briefly. Right?
Well...
Was that you?
Yes, it was. It is.
So one night I was at my house by myself drinking wine and I was listening to your music and I was singing and then I started tweeting you the lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, this woman is going to think I've lost my mind.
I understand there was wine to help the journey, so I understand.
You should have checked me. I'm like, Masekela undi qalele ukuthi umbombela uhamba ebusuku kojange ngoku undishile dolasekelwa
umsebenzi eGauteng.
It's my favorite song.
Oh, wow.
And I just sang it with Sibongile Khumalo of Clock Life. So do you get that people just come up to you and they start singing?
Sometimes it happens. I also do get people who say, you know, I have my 6-year-old daughter is just, and you want to say, just leave the child the hell alone. Leave the child to just be, and they will work it out for themselves later on. Because as parents, I suppose we all look at our children and think our children are the most amazing thing. That's what I did with my children, so I understand.
My mom told me early on I can't sing though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was just like, look, we're at a funeral, and then I was singing. She's like, you know, God can hear us if we hum.
I love your mother.
So like, which is why I found other things to do. I think I do them pretty okay. So imagine.
No, you're not doing pretty okay. You're doing very, very well.
Oh, thank you. What a compliment. So speaking of doing well,
Yeah.
you know, people who turn 60 usually throw a birthday, you know, one day and then they tired like, oh, I turned 60. I need a...
Trust me, I was dead for 2 weeks.
Really?
I
a 3-day concert?
Yeah, well, it at the time we thought about it, it seemed like a good idea.
That's what I will do. I will perform for 3 days straight.
No, that's not a bad thing to do. And then closer to the time, I was thinking, what was that about?
Are you like going for your vitamin shots? Are you being Usain Bolt? Are you like carbo loading?
No.
What's the preparation like when something like that is going down?
Well, firstly, you try and offload all the nonsense that goes into your head.
Yeah.
You know, you try and keep a positive outlook to things, even when there are challenges, even when you're thinking, oh my word, that person promised me money, and where's this money going to come from? If they don't come through, what happens now? And you can't exactly cancel by that stage, right? But also you pay attention to what you're eating. I saw one of your clips when I was preparing to come here. The clip with your clip with Unati,
Yes.
and I was fascinated by that because what she had to say is so true.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, the interesting thing also is that it's not just the idea of dieting or losing weight. It's just anything you want to do, just start.
Yeah.
You know, because unless you do that, you won't know if you can actually do it. So you know, one pays attention to what one is eating. One pays attention to how much sleep one takes in. So it's not always
the body's not the same no more.
The bones are not the same, but also it's not always that you can sleep through the night, right? And then you wake up at about 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're thinking, why am I up? Why? Why? I didn't have a nightmare. Why am I up? And you get up and you talk to people that you need to talk to in your mind, and you have these conversations with the great ones, with your elders, with whomever you think will help you calm down and keep a focus. It's things like that. Of course, the biggest preparation is just making sure that you know your music and you know the words, right?
Yeah.
You just did Masikela undixelele ukuthi. Imagine if I were to say Masikela samba, and you're thinking, no, but there are other people who know these words.
Yes.
And there'll be an Anele sitting over there and thinking, what is she doing?
I even know when he comes back and he says, Musulila Sibongile. Yes, right? Every time I sing that line, my friends are like, did you put that line in there? No one knows that line. So, I mean, have you ever forgotten your lyrics on stage, though?
All the time. But you don't know, right? Even when you think that you know the music, you won't know, because I stand there with so much confidence. I have to stand there and look like I know what I'm doing.
You're like, maybe I'm the one singing it wrong. Maybe, because I mean,
yes.
you are.
But you have to. I mean, and I suppose if you remember that when you stand on that stage, people are not coming out to listen to you make mistakes. People come out there to appreciate you, to appreciate what you do, and so you have the responsibility to give it back to them. So you stand there and sometimes you smile inside yourself and think, that's an oops, but it's okay. And nobody seems to care that.
Because when we're there, the moment and the melody is, to me, actually far more important than the lyric. I
Absolutely,
feel. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, that's true.
Have you ever stayed the wrong city? Like, let's say you're in, like, Berlin, and you're like, hey, Stockholm, how you doing?
No.
Oh, because I've seen many artists do that. And
maybe I've never been there.
Oh, so you just
I'm kidding.
Because I'm just like...
No, I haven't had the misfortune of doing that, no. But the lyrics are a challenge. Eh?
Do you still get butterflies before you go on stage?
All the time, all the time. The day it stops, I've often said the day it stops is the day I will stop. Because the butterflies help me keep centered, help me focus on the moment that I need to focus on. So yeah, when they happen, I mean, over the years you develop ways of dealing with the butterflies.
Yes.
So the important thing is to focus on those butterflies and say, okay, that's okay.
You are just a butterfly.
You're just a butterfly. And as a result, I love butterflies, like real ones. Actually, I tend to collect little ornaments that have butterflies, or a bag with a butterfly on the corner or something. Yeah, and strange, I've never thought of it like that. But yes, I do collect stuff with butterflies on them, with motifs of butterflies and so on. But what I'm saying is nerves. Nervousness is a good thing because it keeps you focused, it keeps you centered. It makes me aware that I'm not taking what I'm doing for granted. Yeah.
It's part of the talent. When the butterfly stops, she will stop. Sit back, relax, enjoy a trip down memory lane with the dynamic Sibongile Khumalo. We are just getting started. You are definitely coming back after the break. And we're back. For Sibongile Khumalo, winning the Standard Bank Artist Award in 1993 was a defining moment that set her on a path of musical greatness. She was iconic in the title role of the acclaimed African opera Princess Magogo Kadinu Zulu. And this is notwithstanding other outstanding events, such as performing both the New Zealand and South African national anthem at the 1995 Rugby World Cup. Huh? Okay, I get the South African one. We can all sing that, but then you like...
Yeah, but then you have to learn, right?
I know, right?
Not that I can remember it now, but yeah, one had to learn.
So after that happens, do you then go to like a box and watch the game?
We sat on the sidelines.
Hey.
There was, in those days, we didn't have the same kind of accreditation and preciousness about being at a World Cup.
Yeah.
And when Imilonji and myself had done singing, there was no way of getting out
Of course.
of
So
the pitch
sit
because
right
we were singing right there near the pitch. So they figured the quickest and easiest way was to bring us chairs. So they brought us chairs and we sat right there. And for the first time, I watched the one and only time I've ever watched a rugby match of any level, at any level of any kind. And I learned, we had to learn quickly. What does that mean? Okay, that's a scrum. Okay, that's it. But the most fascinating thing for me, I think, was watching Jonah Lomu James Small freak out Jonah Lomu, because every time that poor Lomu man
took the ball,
James
Paul was like,
Paul I'm here. To an extent, poor Jonah Lomu tried not to touch a ball. I mean, he would not have himself in a space where they could pass the ball to him, ever. It was the most fascinating thing. I mean,
he terrorized our team enough in the journey, though. So I'm glad somebody said, "Oka."
No, but also it was. I mean, people talk of mosquitoes, right? They say if you, how does it go? I can't remember how the saying goes, but people will tell you of a mosquito and say, if you think small people or small things don't matter, think of what a
like a mosquito landing on your eye, or your
there, right? Mm-hmm. And Jonah Lomu was like a mosquito to that man. I mean, Jonah Lomu was so there, and that taught me something about self-belief. I mean, Jonah Lomu James Small had nothing.
He was savage though, like
that said, I'm scared of you. He was like, I ain't scared of you. I don't think you matter.
And morning, what was this?
Yeah, it can't.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, I don't see you. You are just clothes.
And Jonah Lomu was, so that was a fascinating, I mean, that was one of the lessons. But obviously, you know, winning the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup then also, and what was possible. I mean, we had just come out of the 1994 elections.
Nelson Mandela was there.
Yes.
I mean, it was a big moment. And you were there.
It was a huge moment for us as a nation, just generally. Never mind now, we look and think, really? Were we real about that kind of stuff?
We went honeymoon.
It was a beautiful honeymoon.
Now we're like on our third divorce.
Hey, what?
We're on our third divorce.
It was
we'll be fine.
I never knew of Gaku singing Da Kom Di Boke, Da Kom Di Boke, or whatever. Yeah, no, it was fun.
I said to my newsreader today, I'm like, I'm interviewing Sibongile Khumalo. And he says, she has sang for every president, okay? Every time there's a president in town, they call Sibongile Khumalo. Is that like, did you get to a point where you're like, I know, okay, let's say like Barack is coming, they're going to call me, I'm going to sing.
Is it like that, really?
Well, we have to send our best man forward, you know?
Okay, I don't know. No, but you cannot take stuff like that for granted.
You certainly can't.
You cannot be blasé about that kind of stuff. You know, if somebody thinks you are worthy of that space, then you need to prove that you are in fact worthy of that space. So there's a whole lot of pressure that goes with it. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of preparation that goes with it, because you must then be sure that, one, you choose the correct repertoire for the occasion, but make sure you remember the words. Find the correct musicians to accompany you if you're not working with an orchestra, for an example. But it's a whole weight on one's shoulders, and you need to just make sure that you live up to it.
So outside of, President Nelson Mandela, who's the most, and I get that all your fans are important, it's like, don't give me all my fans are important. Like, we get that. And the fact that they pay money and they come see you. But for you personally, outside of President Nelson Mandela, who's the most like, oh my word, I'm performing for this person?
Performing for Thabo Mbeki was one particularly telling moment, because I always had the impression, and I still have the impression, that he's a very fussy and finicky and particular kind of person, and he knows his art. You know, he's just one of those people who who, yes, siyamgwara sithi, oh, our intellectual
Intellectual.
president, blah, blah, blah. But in fact, and we shouldn't make it sound like it's an insult
No,
to be
no.
intellectual.
Yeah, I hear you.
know?
Yeah.
So performing for somebody like that kind of makes you think, geez, okay, what now? What now? What?
Yeah.
But yes, I know you get the thing about the fans, but in fact, performing for children is particularly precious for me because, you know, kids are
Fussy.
yes,
Yeah.
and they know their story.
Yeah.
They know they might not be able to analyze it intellectually or give you the big English words.
And
or,
also for them, it's a feeling, right?
yeah, there's something they connect with, right? And they will show you immediately if they like what you're doing or they hate what you're doing. With children,
I agree.
When we say out of the mouths of babes, it's real.
Yeah.
It gets real. It does not get more real than when you perform for children. So I love performing for children. It terrifies me, but I love it. I love it when a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old comes and says, please sign my program for me. Then I'm like, okay. Even if I'm talking to you, Anele, I will stop talking to you and talk to this child because also because it takes guts for them to approach an adult, right? I mean, never mind good bangaba fly, but it takes guts for them to kind of stand up and say, I want an autograph from you, or I want, and they don't say, can I have an autograph for my grandmother? They don't do that.
No, adults
which
do that.
you will do to
Adults
me,
do
right?
that.
Yeah.
Adults do that.
Can I have an autograph? And I'm
Oh,
like,
my child likes you. Your child is 9 months. What do they like about me?
No, children will be upfront about it. They'll tell you if they like it, and if they don't like it, if they don't tell you, they will just keep away. Chances are that they'll just keep away. But yeah, kids, beautiful.
So speaking of kids, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about a day in Standard 7 at Orlando West High School, where you stood up and you sang a solo. All right, after the break, we'll talk more about the not 1 but 3-day tribute concert Sibongile treated fans and family to in September. She thought I didn't know that story. Celebrating her 60th the only way she knew how, through music. We'll be back.
I'd like to ask the singers to join me on stage. Kuki Mokubetsi, Sfiso Kanyile, and Ayanda Zulu. And we sing a song called Waza that Hugh Masekela wrote. It's a love song, it's a beautiful love song. And Miriam Makeba sang this one. I don't know what year it was. Work it out for yourself. Woza sithandwa, woza sihlale ngovuyo, woza.
Welcome back to Real Talk on SABC3, where the stage is yours. So we've discussed her 60th birthday this past September. Sibongile Khumalo received what she describes as the best gift she could have had, the stage for 3 days. And with it, she put on a memorable concert in ode to those that came before her, but also celebrating her own musical journey titled More Than Three Faces. So this is in September, right? Let's go back then to Standard 7 at Orlando West, where you say you basically had your first solo, right? And a teacher kind of thrust you into the spotlight. How did this teacher know you could sing?
Actually, she was an admin secretary of the school. She was not even a teacher. Okay, now you've stumped me. But she, for some reason, I found myself one of 4 girls who were responsible for starting the hymns at assembly, at morning assembly, every day.
Okay.
Myself, Maralo, the admin secretary's younger sister, one other girl, and we yeah, somehow, you know, Jerusalem, Ikayalam, that kind of thing, you know, and I suppose, I don't know how she knew, but I guess her instinct told her something. And she's one of those people that I will always hold in high esteem because of what she did. And there was never a thing that made me feel like, try this, we'll see. She just said, we were singing Amagoha, oh Apollo, Amagoha, oh Apollo, Amagada, Anirangalisile lonke ihlabathi. And I had to do this thing, and I had to learn how to sing this thing, and I somehow, I guess because an adult sort of thought I could do it, I don't know. I did not think so, but yeah, it seemed, Sis Martha, that's what we called her. Sis Martha, I remember her surname. It's coming. You see, I've remembered the first name. And Sis Martha just, yeah, made me believe I could do it. So I did it. And the funny, and the interesting thing is that at primary school, I don't remember singing in a choir at primary school.
But your parents were musical. I mean,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
In the house, are you not like, I can do this? Even in primary school?
No. At primary school, as a child, you are made to do things, Mosangit. You don't just...
So if your parents' friends come to visit, they're like, Sibongile!
No.
Or shall I number yakho?
No, not really. I don't recall any of that. I don't even remember singing in the bathroom as a child.
Okay.
No, you know, other kids will say, no, we sang it at home over weekends or in the evenings or something.
Dad would get his records out.
Yeah, what we did do though, we were given music lessons to play the violin. We were a whole group of us in the Ionian Youth Music Program, and Utata would give us music lessons, and we do exams, right, through UNISA. But not because, you know, as a family, that's what we did. It's just something that happened because he ran this program, and I was part of the gang that participated in this program. But
do you still play the violin?
In my dreams, yeah, sure.
But I mean, you were talking about an orchestra earlier, so I suppose if you've had like the base level of playing, you can kind of see when somebody's messing up your flow.
No, sure.
Like,
yeah.
I played violin for 5 minutes when I was younger. I know that is wrong.
No, I actually played more than 5 minutes. I mean, when I did my junior degree, music degree, that was my major instrument. It was not even voice. Violin was my major instrument, so it was a little more than 5 minutes. But so I have a sense of what is great, beautiful, mediocre, okay, that kind of thing. But as I grew older, I became more and more comfortable with my voice. I developed a beautiful relationship with the instrument, which I hadn't had as a younger person.
And what have you been insecure about when it comes to your talent? Like something that you question, like, you'll do it, when you get on. It's like most great musicians are like, just give me the mic. But there's some demons that you sometimes fight within yourself.
Most great musicians don't just say, give me the mic. They say, okay, let's try it. I've heard a lot of really amazing people who say, okay, let's try this. Let's work it out. And then they take the microphone and they take the instrument and they're like, oh,
is that trying?
Wow. Yeah, is that sort of thing. I guess it comes back again to this whole notion of not taking anything you do for granted, because you're not just playing the instrument or opening your mouth. You are connecting also with something else. It's when you recognize that you are more than just the sum total of the different things that are put together. The totality of yourself connects with a higher power, a higher being, and higher essence. Whether you call it God, Allah. The ancestors are there as your support support group, as it were. They
Your WhatsApp group.
Your
Morning.
Yes.
Have a great day, guys. If you don't have a WhatsApp support group, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You should get it. Those people are marvelous. They keep you going.
No, but they keep you grounded.
Yeah.
They keep you, you become a channel. A lot of times, I know that for me personally, you know, when it has actually worked, when I've been on stage and I've been able to say, wow, it's when I know I have connected and have been able to connect with God, with that essence that comes from the ground, because that keeps me grounded, literally, and I can take the and I can channel that energy to that other power, that other energy that then helps me to take it out there to the audience over there. You know, so when I've been able to connect like that, gatatu like that, then I know, okay, it hasn't been a bad day.
Is this why your concert was called The Three Faces?
No, that's not the reason why my concert was called The Three Faces.
Then three is your favorite
The Three
number.
Faces, hey?
Then 3 is definitely your favorite number, because
Yes,
what
it
you
is.
just said now is very profound.
Well, I don't know about favorite number, but it's a number that seems to do the things that make the cosmos. Sorry, I need to behave myself.
No, you don't. This is amazing. Carry on.
The number 3 throughout my life has been a number that, you know, people who are into numerology will speak of different things: power number, destiny number,
yes.
what number, this number. And I realized as I got older that a lot of things that work for me happen in 3s. The same way as I got to appreciate the fact that you do something once on stage, people see it. You do it a second time, people notice it. You do it the third time, people, oh wow, that makes sense. Yes, that is what she's saying. That's what he's doing. That you see that a lot in dance, for instance, right? When I sit down, I noticed these 3 legs, for an example. I just notice things that happen in 3s. When at home I have tables, I have vases that are bought in 3s. I have, you know, things that I have portraits that have been grouped in 3s and things like that. Not because I was consciously saying this must happen in 3s, but I just notice things that happen in 3s because, for whatever reason, I relate to the number 3. But yeah, it's 3s. So the 3 faces of Sibongile Khumalo happened in 1992. 92. How much money is that?
I know. Like, as you're talking, like, my hand is itching. I'm like, I'm going to get so much money. And you're like 3, and I'm like 3 million.
From your mouth
to his ears.
Yeah, yeah. The 3 phases of Sibongile Khumalo, it was the classical phase, it was the jazz phase, it was the traditionally infused phase of music. And so when we were thinking of what to do for the 60th birthday, Ayanda, who's my manager, business partner, daughter, blah, 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 and all things in between, figured, okay, Ma, we need to do something for your 60th birthday. And I said, yeah, I'd like to do something. Okay, let's, bucket list. Okay, I'm going to Zanzibar. I'm going to Zanzibar. And it was like, yeah, okay, go to Zanzibar. I'm like, oh, no. Let's do a concert. 3 phases? More than 3 phases? More than 3 phases. Simply because it was also not just the classical phase, was not just Western classical music, but throughout the journey, the whole development of South African classical music that I had been
part of,
very much a part of, became very attractive, you know, to portray that on our terms, on my terms. That's where the more than 3 phases really comes from.
Okay, so I'm going to take a break, and I'm glad you touched on the fact that you are integral in like the building of music? Because I know that you love to teach music as well. So we're going to discuss that. Be sure to come back for more on how Sibongile Khumalo successfully crafted such an impressive musical career that has never been about the spotlight, but about honoring her calling to music. Stay tuned.
There's no special time for love. True love that lasts always. Love takes time to love, evolves over time.
You with Real Talk right here on SABC3, where the stage today really belongs to the prolific Mam Sibongile Khumalo. If you thought that turning 60 for this legendary songstress was about to slow her down, think again. Last year saw the release of her album titled Breath of Life. In March this year, she followed that up with the Essential album, a powerful body of work that eloquently tells of her decades-long artistry. Speaking of artistry, I have it on good authority that you would like to pair up with a Kwaito star and make some music.
Why not?
I think you should do it.
I don't see why not. I mean, you know, we do limit ourselves. Singabantu siphila nje. We you know, and one has it on good authority that the brain has so many cells that are functional, and
we don't utilize all of them.
we don't utilize all of them, and we kill ourselves that way, right? So don't ask me which Kwaito star or even hip hop star. I've teamed up with Utumi once.
Oh, yes.
We did something together.
Yeah. He's
couple
called
of years ago.
Stogie now, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's still, I've been told that, but that's Utumi mna. Ndimdala kakubi ngoku now man is Stogie. I like that though, Stogie, but Gutumi.
Yeah.
We did this beautiful song with Omasauko, Chipembere, some years ago, and it was a very interesting, though intimidating process.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, oh my God, they wanted me to do it. You know, they produce all these sounds. But I imagine it would be great to be in that.
In the zone.
In the zone, you know, I used to enjoy watching The Hustle, the very first episode of The Hustle. When I discovered there was a program like that, I got interested, and I would take the time out, sit with my son and my daughter, and we watch The Hustle. And
I think you watched the season with Big Star Johnston.
I don't know. I don't know who those people were.
You're just like, they're good.
I just enjoyed the process. I mean, I had questions about some of what was happening and why it had to happen that way, why the accent and why they needed to be like, you know, why they needed to be like how those other like, you know, like, and I mean like, you know, I had problems with that.
Hey, you're my man. Hey, you're my man.
You know, and the big glasses and yo, and yeah, some of
You do that quite well, by the way.
Hey?
You do it quite well.
I watched it long enough. I had to rub off somewhere, I guess. I liked watching that. I enjoyed it. And I think also what I learned from that process was to appreciate how those youngsters got taught how to value the value of the word. You know, I mean, I'm repeating myself, but yeah, say what you mean and mean it, right? Find a way that makes sense to you and engage. When you engage with the word, make the words, make them powerful.
Yeah.
Through the power of your performance.
Because they're your words.
But
who's better is going to make them come to life than you?
This is it, yeah. And for me, what was also, because, you know, we'd always heard, and so to have these youngsters not go that route, but just find, because I always have the attitude that anybody who resorts to profanity has a limited vocabulary, in fact, has a limited vocabulary, has a limited understanding of what life is really all about. You know, if you can't use words, or if you can't get these inanimate objects
to represent what
you are feeling and thinking and perceiving of your world, of the world around you. So I appreciate that. I appreciated that a lot, a whole lot. So yeah, maybe now that I've put it out there, I should start paying attention a bit more.
All I know is Casper's calling me right now. If I could go to my phone, Casper's like, Mas Sibongile must come work with me, mfana. Because he actually would, I think.
That's the Casper is the one of the fill up the dome,
Yes.
right? Okay,
So he filled up the dome, and then he filled up Orlando, and now he's going to fill up FNB Stadium.
Okay,
So-
Casper.
Because perhaps you should walk out on stage at that time and
Why
you'll
not?
rhyme together. I don't know.
Why not?
So speaking of youngsters, what are you grateful for that you are not starting out music in this time in 2017? That you started out so much earlier, so you missed this vibe.
What am I grateful for?
Yeah, like for instance, something like social media, right? I feel like everyone who comes into
But life, love, living, music, making, everything in the age of the digital era, excuse my language, it sucks. It really
See,
does.
this is what I want to know. Like, what are you grateful for that you missed that?
I'm grateful that I missed the challenge of not being a private person, private musician. I'm grateful that I don't have to contend with they call it Black Twitter.
Oh yes, Black Twitter. Black Twitter, y'all just got a shout out.
Hi, Black Twitter. Hello, hello. Hi, I love you. No, but and one understands where that is coming from. One understands completely. At least I think I do. I know the angst that we're living through. I know the pressures that we're living through, and I understand the demands of a time and an era where everything must work and it must work now. I understand that. I appreciate that. So I'm grateful that I don't have to contend with that. I'm grateful for the fact that even though I am on Twitter and I am on Facebook, and Ayanda, in her wisdom, put me on Instagram.
Oh, what's your name there?
Same as my Twitter handle, Sibo K, Sibo _Khumalo, sorry.
I thought you'd be Instas Bosch.
No, I don't know what that is. So even though I am on those, I can always withdraw.
Yeah.
Because it gets to be much. You wake up in the morning, you pick up your phone and you're checking, like, huh? And then you see, huh? And then you want to respond, you want to comment, you want to post. When I started out, I got very addicted, especially to Facebook. I mean, I was on that thing every free moment. I would come back from a gig, I'd walk into my study, I'd go online, and I'd fall asleep. Quite a few times I found myself sleeping on my laptop. And then I got off. I thought, no, this is not the way to be. This is not the way to be. So I got off Facebook for about 2 years, I think. Maybe not 2 years, but yeah, but for a very, very long time. And by then, the lesson had been learned. Same with Twitter. I asked, but how do people, how are they tweeting all the time? And I was told, no, because they're literally sitting on a chair at their desk, wherever, and they're going, and I was like, no, but I can't do that. And then something happened to my phone, and then I forgot my password.
The password. And you haven't been back ever since.
I forgot my password. Then I went back earlier this year. We have a new password. And said, okay, so somebody else has to manage this for me because I won't cope. But I also I appreciate the power of social media for being a potential change agent. You know, people, if it was not for social media, we wouldn't be knowing some of what we know about some of the atrocities that have happened in the world, some of the things that racists in this country say about us, and some of the things that other people, the nastiness is one thing, but there's some good that,
Yeah.
no, in fact, it's potentially a very, very good tool to
Yeah.
use. And, you know, people's businesses have grown through social media, and it's a good tool, but you need to know why you're on it. That's what I believe. I had to work out, okay, why am I on this thing? It's work related. It's about perhaps sharing good stories. It's about influencing thought, perhaps. It's about communicating with friends. Well, I mean, that's the basic one. I get.
Okay, so when you say influencing thought, just reminded me of something that you once said in an interview, and you spoke at length about it. So after the break, we're going to speak about that, about the languages thing, about why we're so scared of speaking and singing and expressing and living in and amongst our own languages. I thought it was quite profound. So you definitely need to do that before we say goodbye. More with Sibongile Khumalo after the break.
Come with me down Paradise Road. This way, please. I'll carry your load. This you must believe. Come with me to paradise skies. Look outside and open your eyes. This you must believe.
Welcome back. Aside from a success as a singer, songwriter, and composer, Mama Sibongile Khumalo, in case you didn't know, is passionate about being a musical educator, especially to us, the younger generation. And one of the most profound things she said to us, the younger generation, is the fact that we fear our languages. You said it's like you're scared of it because you think you don't know it well enough. So you'd rather not make the mistake of being expressive in your own language. So you just divert to, you know, what would be mainstream?
You know,
Easy.
Yes.
Easy.
We think it's accessible to speak in English because we even dream in English a lot of the time. But the languaging issue, the re-languaging issue, as I tend to refer to it, is not even just the actual language, the Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Tswana, Pedi, Venda, Ndebele, Swazi, etc. It's also even in how you couch what you say, the use of language itself, right? And sometimes we no, most often we get told, yeah, but this is the language of business. This is the language of whatever.
It's the international medium of the world.
Yeah, but when you think of let's go back to the music scenario. Italian in the operatic world. Italian, German, Spanish, French gets used a lot, right? But Italian, for an example, or in fact Latin even before it, has been used to describe certain moods in the music, or certain tempi in the music. We speak of Lago, we speak of Rolentando, we speak of...
And Latin has been used in the legal world as well.
There we go.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So gwalaphi ukuthi sithathe shesha?
Yeah.
Why can't we say shesha?
Yeah.
In an English piece of music, because the piece of music has been composed, say, by a Zulu-speaking person.
Yeah.
Things like that. So part of it is because we are used to things done a certain way, but part of it, my sense is that part of it also is that we're just lazy.
Yeah.
We're just lazy. Besides being afraid, we are lazy to challenge
the status quo.
The status quo. We didn't get here as a nation by being complacent. We challenged somebody. We said to the Afrikaner, the Boere regime, ain't
up to
no
here,
way.
No feather.
Exactly. It's not going to work, right? We need to appreciate the fact that if we want anything to happen differently for us, we must build. And part of that building has to do with the language that we use. Siyakha, kaloku. And ayizukwenzeka nje automatically. You were scratching your
3 million.
yeah, your 3 whatever, your 3 mil. Ayizukwenzeka nje, you've put it in your mind that
Now I
you
must
need,
go and find it.
so you must think about, okay, how do I get this 3 million, this 3 mil, for an example? What does it mean? What sort of words do I need to put in place for this to manifest? It starts in your mind, right? It starts in your mind. It's the thought that you have in your mind. It's how you feel about what you are thinking, right? It's the gut reaction that you have. It's the visualization that you have about this thing that you are thinking. So that by the time you speak, we often say, hey, careful what you say,
Yeah.
right? But by the time you say it, you have invested so much from the thought to the feeling, to the gut, to the visual, to everything around it. Mayifika lapha, mayifika la iphuma out of your mouth. What has happened? What has happened? It's not just something random.
It's a contract.
I like that word.
It's a contract.
Yeah, it's a contract that you have made with yourself, with your gods, with your ancestors, with your guides, with your angels, whatever you choose to call them. It is a contract that you have in place with them. And the language that you use, both from the actual vernacular that you speak to the essence of how you're saying what you're saying, to the words that imbue your world, all of that has something to do with what manifests ultimately.
So when you speak of ancestors, you know, every time we do a Thanksgiving and we slaughter a kaya, and then you must talk to the ancestors. My dad's older sisters, like, the ancestors can't hear English. So, like, you're like, ah.
No, but modern ancestors are very. I really do believe they are very sorted, those people. Because
I just think
I simply because, you know, also they need to do their own PR and have their story sorted out because they've been misrepresented
so
over
badly.
so many
So they
decades.
just like, you know,
probably
we get it on Twitter as well.
Yeah. Well, that too. But yeah, you know, there's PR that they're on about. How many people do you know, abafundileyo, abasuccessful, abanezimali zabo, abanentondon, who will tell you quite clearly, me, I slaughter for my ancestors. Me, I talk to my people.
Yeah.
How many people do you know? Just think about it. You don't have to answer me now, but
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. No,
Yeah.
I do. And my dad's very conscious of that. That's why he's always made sure that we will not ever stop doing it.
Okay, there we go.
So,
There we go.
speaking of languages, you were learning French, and then you were like,
you? No.
no, we're not going to talk about it. No, you're not learning it anymore.
All I know is ça va, très bien,
S'il vous plaît,
s'il vous plaît,
bonjour.
bonjour, you know, things like that. But I wasn't going to spend the rest of my adult life at that time spending a difficult language, having had
other difficult languages
up
here.
till that point,
Yeah.
having spent my adult life learning a difficult language like English, you
Yeah.
know. I wasn't going to do that, especially because I was also conscious, even though not as conscious as I am now, but I was conscious of the fact that I hadn't learned Shangaan, I hadn't learned Isivenda. Yeah, I wasn't going to I had spent my adult life up till that point learning and trying to get to grips with a difficult, very difficult language, which was English. And I realized that at the time when I was starting to learn French, it meant that I was going to spend the rest of my adult life learning another very difficult language. And I mean, also having experienced the fact that these people are cousins and they hate each other's guts, why must I bother?
Yeah.
Right? But ngapha nesivenda singxakile nesi
I left it in door.
I tried in high school. I had a Venda speaking friend and I couldn't crack it. I wasn't able to, I still am not able to speak Shangaan, which is my mother's language. And I thought maybe I could spend time.
Yeah. Why did you want to learn it? Was it a case of, you know,
What, learn French?
Yeah.
Because one had been traveling quite a bit at the time,
okay.
and you know, you find that, or rather, I found that I was missing out on some very important conversations that had been happening amongst colleagues, and even though, you know, there would be translation here and there, you still miss something.
Yeah,
You know,
you didn't get the gist of it.
You get the gist of it, but
I mean, you get the gist, but not the nuance.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Everyone is a guess. Everyone is a guess.
Isn't nuance
Uyitsho
French?
njani loo nto ngesiXhosa? No.
I hear what you're saying.
I didn't say
So
that,
is there
yeah.
something that you feel was a big waste of your time?
Waste?
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
No. Do I have regrets about what I've done, what
Yeah.
has happened in my life? No.
No.
Regret is a waste of time. Regret is, okay, maybe not a waste of time, but regret diverts you from what is important. Regret keeps you in the past. Regret keeps you wondering if it could have happened differently, right? It has happened.
And that's how it is.
What have you learned from it? What's the lesson? What have you derived from it, whether it's pleasure or sorrow or whatever? And how do you move forward from there? That's my basic understanding and perhaps definition of regret. I very rarely regret things. I might feel sorry that something has happened or I've done things in a particular way, but I'm not going to dwell on that. When people have asked, so what do you regret about your life? I struggle to think of things that I regret. I will remember things that I've done wrong, and I'd be like, yeah, but ish. Okay, but anyway, hey.
I'm here now and I'm fine with it.
Oh, there's a blackboard over there. Okay, what's in there? What's on that board? Or things like that, yeah.
Speaking of moving forward, it's going to be a while before you're 70, okay? But since you're planning these big things, you know, what's the when you're falling asleep at night and you're dreaming big, what's
I'm still
70
enjoying
like?
being 60.
Yeah, because you're actually 60 right now. I'm thinking 10 years. I mean, like, I can't even plan what I'm doing next week. Here I am asking you to tell me what you're going to do in 10 years.
I don't know. I haven't thought that far yet. I really am. I'm serious when I say I'm still enjoying being 60. I'm still thinking about, okay, in about 11 months or so, I'll be 61. Okay, I'll get there.
Get there.
For now, I'm here. This is what I'm doing. And one of the things that I really would like to see happen, in fact, in 5 years' time, will be the 100th year of my father's birth year.
Yeah.
He was born in 1922.
Okay.
And one of his big dreams was to build a school, a facility in KZN to teach children, young people, music and art and dance and drama. So to build an academy of the performing arts. That's one of my big bucket lists. It's more than a bucket list, it's a passion, it's an obsession. It's becoming an obsession now, and it needs to happen, and it must happen.
It's a must.
Yeah.
See, well, when my 3 million comes, you can go build your
Well,
school.
I'm not itching yet, but when I itch next time, I'll be mindful of calling it out.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Her and I are going to sing to each other now. You, unfortunately, have to leave us. It's been a pleasure hearing of the many defining moments that made Mama Sibongile Khumalo's stellar career. Such an inspiration, without a doubt, from a generation of the purest form of musical excellence that only a few can achieve in their lifetimes. But if she builds her school, then everybody's on board. For more with Real Talk, join us again right here on SABC 3, Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. I'm Anele. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. You're crazy.
cheeky.